Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast. Today is November 19th, 2025, Wednesday. All right, agenda for today. College football, college basketball, NBA, NHL soccer on this day, news and notes, and best bet. We'll kick it off with college football. We had 3 games last night. We have 2 tonight. Both Maction, yet again. Akron over Bowling Green 19-16, Western Michigan over Northern Illinois 35-19, and Ohio over UMass 42-14. 2 games tonight, 7 o'clock on ESPN2, Miami of Ohio and Buffalo. My line is Buffalo by 3, total 45 and 2/5, and it is Miami 2.5, total 38.5. I'm gonna take. That's a pretty hard one because I have a near 7-point edge on the over, and so less than that on Buffalo. So I'm gonna go over 38.5 for the pick. A fun thing to parlay would be the Buffalo money line and the over. That's what I'm going to do, but for the show's sake, the one pick would be over 3.5. That's what I recommend. ESPNU, Central Michigan, Kent State. My line is Central by 3, total 51 and 9/10, and it is 8.5 and 50.5. I'm taking Kent State plus 8.5. That is way too many points. And I know Kent State's not any good, but it's Max and weird shit happens. I'm going to take Kent State getting 8.5 points. Okay, college basketball. We'll go over the results of note from yesterday and look ahead to tonight. Tonight's a lot less games than last night. All right, so yesterday, Champions Classic. Number 17, Michigan State over number 12, Kentucky, 83-66. Impressive win for Tom Izzo's team there. Rutgers over American, 80-71. Buffalo over Vermont, 94-90. Number 18, North Carolina over Navy, 73-61. Delaware over St. Peter's, 81-70. Drexel over NJIT, 75-43. JMU over Towson, 81-75. Seton Hall over New Haven, 68-45. Providence over New Hampshire, 98-66. Florida State over Tennessee Martin, 87-73. South Carolina over Radford, 87-58. Iona over Princeton, 89-69. Xavier over Old Dominion, 99-69. Eastern Michigan over Detroit Mercy, 72-62. Central Time campus game, George Mason over Jacksonville, 79-57. Maryland Eastern over Longwood, 83-82 in double overtime. Kent State over Eastern Kentucky, 93-78. Charleston Southern over IU Indy, 103-91. UNC Wilmington over East Carolina, 85-60. Columbia over BU, 54-49. BC over Hampton, 63-52. College Hill Classic, Brown over Holy Cross, 68-49. Lehigh over St. Francis, 79-62. Georgia Tech over Georgia Southern, 68-66. NCAT over Morgan State, 79-73. Number 21, Arkansas over Winthrop, 84-83. LSU over Alcorn State, 107-81. Ole Miss over Austin Peay, 72-65. Texas A&M over Montana, 86-81. DePaul over Gardner-Webb, 93-62. Murray State over Little Rock, 89-68. Texas Arlington over Evansville, 84-76. Texas State over Abilene Christian, 63-49. Minnesota over Chicago State, 66-54. Northern Iowa over Northern Illinois, 70-57. SMU over Arkansas Pine Bluff, 106-60. Rhode Island over Yale, 86-77. Cornell over Army, 86-73. Iowa over Southeast Missouri, 99-70. Champions Classic, number 5, Duke over number 24, Kansas, 78-66. Fresno State over Stephen F. Austin, 80-78. San Diego over Grambling, 78-68. Boise State over Wichita State, 62-59. Acrisure Series, Utah over Purdue Fort Wayne, 85-77. Syracuse over Monmouth, 78-73. Texas over Rider, 99-65. Acrisure Holiday Invitational Campus game, Pepperdine over New Orleans, 90-79. Washington over Southern, 99-93 in double overtime. San Francisco over Northwestern State, 84-74. UC Davis over Nevada, 75-71. Troy over San Diego State, 108-107 in double overtime. Santa Clara over Idaho State, 64-55. Cal Baptist over UC Riverside, 80-57. Stanford over Louisiana, 93-66. Empire Classic Campus game, Cal over Presbyterian, 67-57. Empire Classic Campus game, number 19, UCLA over Sacramento State, 79-48. Okay, now we move on to tonight. 6 o'clock, I have Alabama State Air Force. My line is Air Force by 8.5. And it is 3.5 and 137 FLA with Air Force. 6:30 Big Ten, Middle Tennessee, number 7 Michigan. I have Michigan by 31. It's 27.5 and 157.5 LA with Michigan. Harvard, Penn State. I have Penn State as an 8.5 point underdog, and they're giving 12.5 totals 143.5. I'm gonna take Harvard plus 12.5 and plus 640 outright. I think Penn State's in trouble here. 7 o'clock, Fox Sports 1, game of the night. Number 4 Arizona, number 3 UConn. From UConn's home building. My line is UConn by a whopping 14 points. And it's 6.5 and 154.5. I'll lay with UConn. Chattanooga, SC State. I have Chattanooga by 26. And it's 11.5 and 154.5. I'll lay with Chattanooga. South Alabama, Jacksonville State. I have Jacksonville State 1.5. And it is... Yeah, exactly that. Total's 135.5. So this is like a Vegas nose kind of game. And that looks like that line's going up. I'll go with the over for now. Bethune-Cookman and Ohio. Sunshine Slam campus game. My line is Ohio 16. And it is 6.5 and 157.5. I'll lay with Ohio. Louisiana Tech, Indiana State. I have Indiana State as a 7-point home underdog. And they're a 3.5 point favorite. Totals 147.5. I'll take Louisiana Tech plus the 3.5 and plus 140 to win the game outright. Hofstra Temple. I have Temple by 10. And Temple is a 5.5 point favorite. Totals 145.5. I will lay it with Temple. Tennessee Tech SC Upstate. I have Tennessee Tech by a half. And it's Upstate 1.5, total 150.5. I'm going to take Tech plus the 1.5 and plus 110 to win. Howard Stetson, I have Howard 6.5. And it's 2.5 and 149.5. I'll lay the 2.5 with Howard. North Florida, Wofford, Ace on SoCon. My line is Wofford by a whopping 19.5. And it's 10.5 and 161.5. I'll lay it with Wofford. William & Mary, Bowling Green. My line is Bowling Green minus 7.5. And they are giving 8.5. Totals 167.5. Oh, that's a high total. I'm taking the under. Florida Gulf Coast, Sanford, Ace on SoCon. My line is Sanford by a whopping 22. And it's 4.5 and 153.5. I'm laying it with Sanford. That's extremely low. Youngstown State and Toledo. My line is Toledo by 8. And it's 1.5 and 162.5. I'll lay the 1.5 with Toledo. Valparaiso, Cleveland State. I have Valpo 13.5. And it's Cleveland State 2.5, total 157.5. I'm going to take Valpo plus 2.5 and plus 118 outright. Big 5 Classic Campus game, CBS Sports Network at 7 o'clock. Villanova and LaSalle. I have Villanova by a whopping 27.5. It's 12.5, 143.5. I'll lay it with Villanova. Bryant, Virginia Tech. I have Vatek 24.5. And it's 27.5, 151.5. I'll take Bryant plus the number to cover. Bellarmine, Notre Dame. Mine is Notre Dame by a whopping 52 points. And Notre Dame is favored by 25.5. Totals 149.5. I'll lay it. VMI Richmond. I have Richmond 5.5. And it's 13.5 and 150.5. Ooh, I'm taking VMI to cover 13.5. That's high. UMBC, George Washington. I have George Washington 17.5. And they are giving 23.5. Totals 161.5. That's too high too. Give me UMBC plus the points. The A-10 teams are a little overvalued here, spread-wise. Loyola Maryland, Duquesne. I have Duquesne by 8. I wonder if this is another one. Yup, 15.5, totals 149.5. I'm taking Loyola plus the 15.5. So that's 3 A-10 teams that are overvalued favorites, in my opinion. Mount St. Mary's and Maryland. Mine's Maryland 24. And it's 19.5, total's 143.5. I'm going to lay it with Maryland. 7:30, UNC Asheville, Western Carolina. I have Asheville by 4.5. And it is Western Carolina 1.5, total 153.5. Give me Asheville plus 1.5 and minus 1 outright. So that's kind of a pick 'em. Wyoming, Sam Houston. My line is Wyoming by 21. It's Sam Houston 1.5, total 158.5. Oh, give me Wyoming plus 1.5 and plus 106. Why is Sam Houston favored? Maine, Merrimack. I have Merrimack by a half, and it's 6.5, 130.5. Give me Maine plus 6 in the hook. True TV, Dayton, Marquette. I have Marquette by 6, and it's 5.5, 152.5. I'll take the over. 8 o'clock, Cancun Challenge Campus game. UC Irvine, Utah Valley. I have UC Irvine by 11.5, and Utah Valley's favored. 2.5, totals 149.5. Give me Irvine plus 2.5 and plus 124 straight up. UMass Lowell and Bradley. I have Bradley by 20. It's 20.5, 149.5. I'll take the over. North Dakota, Creighton. My line is Creighton 38. And it's 27.5, 157.5. I'll lay it with Creighton. South Florida, Oklahoma State. My line's Oklahoma State by a half, and it's 4.5, 179.5. I'll take South Florida, getting the 4 in the hook. KC, TCU. My line is TCU 24.5, and it's 23.5, 151.5. I'll take the over. 8:30, Lipscomb, Belmont. I have Belmont by 26. It's 13.5, 158.5. I'll lay with Belmont. All right, 9 o'clock, Fox Sports 1 from the United Center. Number 11, Alabama. Number 8, Illinois. My line is Illinois by a half. It's 2.5, 180.5. I'll take Alabama plus 2.5 and plus 130 outright. I can't believe the total is 180.5. Where's college basketball gone? FCC Network, Jackson State, number 22, Auburn. My line's Auburn 39, and it's 29.5, total 156.5. I'm going to lay 29.5 with Auburn. Arkansas State, St. Mary's at 10. My line, St. Mary's by 25. It's 20.5, 147.5. I'll lay it. Campbell, Weber State. I have Weber State 3.5. It's 2.5, 159.5. I'll take the under. That's high. And last but not least, 11 o'clock, Southern Utah, Washington State. I have Washington State by 28. It's 12.5, 158.5. I'll lay the points with Wazoo. Okay, now move on to the NBA. We'll go over the results from yesterday and look ahead to tonight, which is a nice window for the association. Magic over the Warriors 121 to 113. Celtics over the Nets 113-99. Pistons over the Hawks 120-112. Spurs over the Grizzlies 111-101. Lakers over the Jazz 140 to 126. LeBron James came back last night. And the Suns over the Blazers 127-110. All right, 7 o'clock, ESPN, Rockets, Cavs. Great game from Cleveland. My line is Cleveland, 1.5 total, 237 3/5. And it is Rockets 1.5 total, 233.5. The Rockets are favored because of the injuries. But I don't know if they should be favored. I'm going to go with the over. Next up, Hornets Pacers from Indy. My line is the Hornets 2.25, and it's 1.5, 238.5. Oh, my total is 234.25. Oh my god. Under. Raptors, Sixers, Mines, Raptors by 1, total 234 and 13/20, and it's 1.5, 234.5. Oh, that's close. Slightly in Sixers, but you know what I'll do? I recommend, guys, parlaying the Hornets and the Raptors on the money lines together. Warriors Heat 7:30. My line is the Warriors 2.75, total 238. And Miami's by 9. What? Is Steph hurt? Is Steph out tonight? Because why is that line 9? That is the most ridiculous line ever, unless if Stephen Curry's hurt. But that is absurd. With a capital fucking A. I'm checking right now to see if Steph's hurt. Yup. That makes sense. I didn't know that he was just ruled out. Alright, that makes way more sense now. So now this line for me moves to Miami 2.25. So I'm still going to take Golden State getting 9, but they won't win. 8 o'clock, Wizards, T-Wolves. T-Wolves 16, total 2-3.75. And 16 and 238.5. Oh my God. Slightest lean to the over. But not betting that game. That is just crammed projections in. Nuggets, Pelicans. My line is the Nuggets 11.5, total 233.75, and it is a 14 and 234.5. I'm going to take the Pelicans getting the 14. Kings, Thunder 23.25, total 232.75, and it's 18.5 and 231.5. I'm going to lay to 18.5 with the Thunder. Second time Kings are in Sacramento this year. 9:30 ESPN, Knicks, Mavs. Jalen Brunson back in Dallas, assuming he's playing. If he's there, I have Knicks by 8, total 232, and a 20th. And if he's not there, it goes to probably 3.5. And it's 8 and 239.5. This line was 4.5 yesterday. It's all the way up to 8. That means Brunson's playing. And even the Knicks fan in me thinks that's a little high, but that means that Brunson's playing. All right. Slide over for the game, though. And then 10 o'clock, Bulls, Blazers. My line is the Bulls by 1, total 243. And a fifth, or 2/5, and it's 2.5 and 244.5. Slightly Blazers plus the 2.5. So the lines have been spot on, other than I think that Miami line's too high, even without Curry. Way too high. With the capital W. All right. We're going to move on to hockey now. We'll go over the results from yesterday and look ahead to tonight. Tonight's a short window in the NHL. Leafs over the Blues 3-2 OT. Red Wings over the Kraken 4-2. Lightning over the Devils 5-1. Isles over the Stars 3-2. Jets over the Jackets 5-2. Blackhawks over the Flames 5-2. Golden Knights over the Rangers 3-2. And the Sharks over the Mammoth 3-2 in overtime. All right, 4 games tonight, 7 o'clock TNT. Oilers Capitals from DC. Caps minus 118, Oilers minus 102, over under 6.5, overs plus 108, unders minus 132. Oilers plus 1.5 is minus 260, Caps minus 1.5 plus 205. Caps are home, I'll take them as a favorite, minus 118. 7:30, Flames Sabres. Sabres minus 156, Flames plus 130, over under 6.5, overs plus 106, unders minus 130. Flames plus 1.5 is minus 188, Sabres minus 1.5 plus 152. I'm going to go over 6.5 at plus 106. 9:30, TNT. Hurricanes Wild, great game. Canes minus 176, Wild plus 146, over under 5.5. Overs plus 114, unders minus 140. Canes minus 1.5 plus 140, Wild plus 1.5 minus 172. I'm going to go over 6.5 at plus 114. Last but not least, 10 o'clock, Bruins, Ducks. Ducks minus 178, Bruins plus 146, over under 6.5. Overs even money, unders minus 122. Bruins plus 1.5 is minus 168, Ducks minus 1.5 plus 136. I'm going to go with over 6.5 at even money. Okay, soccer. We'll go over the results of note from yesterday and look ahead to today. Where was I looking for? Oh, soccer. So a lot of these results I touched on yesterday, like we did UEFA results on yesterday's show. CONCACAF, Costa Rica, Honduras, 0-0 draw. Guatemala over Suriname, 3-1. Haiti over Nicaragua, 2-0. Jamaica, Curacao, 0-0 draw. Panama over El Salvador, 3-0. Trinidad over Bermuda, 2-2 draw. And then going on right now, Juventus, OL Lions, and VfL Wolfsburg, Man United in UEFA Women's. All right, 3 games to touch on in Women's. 3 o'clock, Arsenal and Real Madrid. So Arsenal's minus 240, Real Madrid plus 550, draw plus 370. We're going to do over 3.5 goals plus 124. Paris FC Benfica. Paris FC minus 150. Benfica plus 340. Draws 3-1. The draw is enticing at 3-1. I'm going to go over 3.5 goals plus 154. And Valor Regna and St. Polten. Valor Regna's minus 1,000. St. Polten 17-1. The draws plus 850. I'm going to go under 3.5 goals at minus 118. Asian Cup qualifiers, Vietnam over Laos 2-0. Nothing else is going on today. Tomorrow early afternoon, we have UEFA Women's FC 20 and Atletico Madrid. We'll touch on that one. Atletico Madrid minus 115, 20 plus 260, draw plus 290. I'm going to go with Atletico Madrid on the road at minus 115. But yeah, soccer's not busy tomorrow. We'll just do the 3 other UEFA Women's games and Liga MX on tomorrow's show. Okay, on this day, interested to see this one. November 19th. Hopefully the baseball stuff's out of the way because there was just way too much baseball. So-and-so wins MVP. Like, we want other sports. We need more football stuff. We want more college stuff. NBA, NHL. I feel like baseball took front and center. I mean, free agency is fine, but, like, baseball awards, I feel like, has dominated ASN. All right. 2015, Bryce Harper named NL MVP. 2015, Josh Donaldson named AL MVP. 2020, Klay Thompson tears his Achilles. I remember that because that was technically the off season, and then he was out that whole season. 2017, UCLA fires Jim Mora. 2024, Bruins fire Jim Montgomery. Yeah, so a year ago they fired Jim Montgomery. 2018, Rams defeat Chiefs 54-51 in instant classic. I remember that game. And I think I bet the over in that game. And the total is like 70 or something crazy. Maybe 65.5 or something. 2024, Jets fire GM Joe Douglas. So, Joe Douglas got let go like over a month after Robert Saleh. We'll see if the same thing happens with Joe Shane with the Giants. 2023, Syracuse fires Dino Babers. So it's been 2 years since he got let go. 2020, Quinn Ewers commits to Ohio State. And, well, that's historic because he ends up going to Texas. 2018, Blues fire Mike Yeo. 2018, Yankees acquire James Paxton from the Mariners. He didn't turn out to be a good acquisition. 2023, Phillies re-sign Aaron Nola. And Aaron Nola is just not the same anymore. And back to Mike Yeo for a second. They fired him and they brought in the guy that led them to the Stanley Cup. I forgot his name, and he used to coach the Flyers too. Craig Berube. There you go, Craig Berube replaced Mike Yeo, and they ended up winning the Cup that year. So, that was a big one, the Blues firing Mike Yeo. So yeah, on this day brought to you by All Sports News. And now go to the news and notes. So there's some stuff going on. Obviously we're going to touch on it. Dame Lillard, is eyeing a Weber State return as Giannis is not the only NBA player with questions about NCAA eligibility. So Dayton Raiola decommits from Nebraska. That's the brother of Dylan Raiola. Oh God, Panthers, Eetu Luostarinen week to week after suffering burns from a barbecue accident. Yikes. That's the second NHL player recently that had a freak injury, non-hockey related, that led to an absence. The other one being Jack Hughes. Okay, so there's another player coming to baseball from Japan, a third baseman, Kazuma Okamoto. Paul Skeens talked up Yankee rumors as he opens up frustration around recent trade buzz. He said he wants to win in Pittsburgh. So Jackson Dart is trending towards a return as he is still in concussion protocol, but will participate in non-contact practice today. So that's good news for the Giants. They want him to obviously develop and whatnot, and we want to see him with Mike Kafka. I think they probably win the Packer game if he plays instead of Jameis. Or come damn close like they did last week. He's either the same game script with Dart or they win. The Saints cut Brandon Cooks as he heads to waivers after mutual parting of ways. The Saints are eyeing a Paris game as team president expects regular season matchup as early as 2026. JJ McCarthy benching unlikely as Vikings have no choice but to stick with JJ over Max Brosmer. That's according to ESPN, and I agree with that. I think everybody's obsessed with JJ McCarthy because he stunk almost every time he's played this year, other than that Lions game and those 2 drives against the Bears. And he was injured. And I do think he's trying to come back from injury. I feel like everyone's writing this kid off. Yes, he has been bad. Trust me. But I think they're writing him off too early. I felt that way about Anthony Richardson with the Colts. But, unfortunately, it could be the Anthony Richardson / Josh Rosen of this quarterback class. But to me, he's the NFC's Bo Nix. Or he's bad most of the time and then he's just clutch. Otherwise. But I do think that Bo Nix is better than JJ McCarthy. I'll just say that on the record. But he's kind of like the NFC's Bo Nix. James Franklin had an emotional intro to Virginia Tech as he got choked up talking about replacing Brent Pry. College football to play a Brazil game next year as NC State and Virginia is set to face off in international matchup next season. So, Lane Kiffin update. Insider says that he can get $11 million, as he's expected to lock down a lucrative deal that stretches at least 6 years wherever he lands. The Dodgers are eyeing closest as they are prioritizing pitchers that can handle the 9th inning on a championship team. Yeah, no shit, because they nearly lost against the Blue Jays and they saw that was their flaw. Michael Penix Jr. has a partial ACL tear as the Falcons announced that he will undergo season-ending knee surgery, so they're done. Jaden Daniels' return still up in the air as they're keeping all options on the table involving him. Joe Burrow progressing well as so far so good at practice, but still unclear if he'll return this season. Marvin Harrison Jr. is out week 12, and DeMarcado of the Cards out against the Jags. The U.S. men's national team beat Paraguay last night as they were an underdog. So the Seahawks sign Brendan Rice, who's the son of Jerry Rice. Brian Schottenheimer is in favor of a George Pickens extension. Shader Sanders is starting on Sunday against the Raiders with Dylan Gabriel out. So, Winter Classic 2026. First look at the jerseys. Rangers-Panthers is the game. Mark Pope says that UK was poorly coached as he is critical of himself after the loss to Michigan State. Steph Curry's out tonight against the Heat. We talked about that already. Giannis is out for 1 to 2 weeks with a left groin strain. Stephon Castle out 1 to 2 weeks, or will be reevaluated in 1 to 2 weeks. Steve Kerr is concerned with NBA injuries as he believes increased pace of play is causing players to miss more games. So how about this? The O's and the Angels make a trade. Taylor Ward to Baltimore in exchange for Grayson Rodriguez. I gotta be honest with you guys, I like that trade for the Angels. Grayson Rodriguez is a good pitcher, and for Baltimore, just get rid of him for Taylor Ward. I like that trade for the Angels. I mean, I feel like Taylor, he's an okay player, but I feel like he's someone that just had one career year. I need to look more into Taylor Ward, but I remember one year he was just awesome on the Angels, but I feel like he hasn't replicated that. So the MLB Open happened yesterday. The Twins won it as Aaron Hicks nails final putt to earn Minnesota the win in the star-studded event. So that's cool. They did a golf thing. Yeah, Uruguay, not Paraguay. Jamar's suspension upheld as he's officially out against the Patriots. All right, so there you have it for the news and notes. Best bet of the day brought to you by FanDuel. There's one game I absolutely loved on the board for college basketball. And that is going to be a slight favorite. They were giving 4.5, and I thought it should have been a bigger line. And I think the game's going to be a blowout bloodbath. Yeah, Samford 4.5 over Florida Gulf Coast is going to be best bet. So there you have it for the show. I'll be back tomorrow recapping everything. Look at everything tomorrow as well. Hope you guys have a great day, everyone.